The towns are the exact same thing. Plant 42, Lancaster, Edwards Air Force Base, that is where the super secret squirrel projects are. The SR-71, the F-117, the U-2, as people probably know today, the F-35, the F-22, some other projects that cannot be named are all out there. You know, the B-2. The B-2 was created there. Everybody knows what the B-2 is, the B-52, the P-51 Mustang. Actually, that one was created in, I think it was in Tustin, but it was tested out there at Edwards Air Force Base. So I was like, well, if I took all of that, tied it into coffee profiles or coffee styles, or I was trying to figure out, like, okay, so if I call it the P-51 Mustang, do I make it a drink, or do I actually roast it to certain profile to match the characteristics of the aircraft? And I went, the engineer brain in me, I went, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to find a farm or a type of coffee that best suits that type of aircraft. So kind of expanding upon that, if I will, is the Vitel Bonanza is named after a farm in El Salvador, Los Lomos. That farm started in 1953. The aircraft started in 1947. Both of them are still alive and well today. The Vitel Bonanza is gone, but the Bonanza, the T-tail, is still in production. Well, what happened with it? Everything grew, everything evolved, everything got better, and same thing with this farmer. This farmer started really as a great farm, just like the Vitel Bonanza was a great aircraft back in 47, but it got better and better and better. And I was like, oh, this worked out great. So I'm going to wrap both of those up and give you an experience versus light, medium, dark roast. This is this. You know, instead of doing what everybody else is doing, when people go to my website, yes, it's a little bit more complicated, but you have to understand that I'm giving you an experience. I'm re-educating you on what coffee is, what it truly is, not what we think it is, not what our perception is of it. So you get a little bit of both with the type of aircraft, the type of bean, the roast profile itself, and the tasting notes. So when we get into tasting notes, that's 800 natural tasting notes of coffee. That's not me injecting flavors in there. That's not me spraying with something like when you go to places that says, oh, we have hazelnut coffee. That's infused hazelnut flavoring. That is not the natural flavors. When it says tasting notes or notes, something like that, that is what that bean naturally exhibits. So like with El Salvador, we have Myers lemon, we have marshmallow, we have walnut, and a finish of milk chocolate. When you brew it, you can smell the walnut, milk chocolate, and some marshmallowy-ness in the air. Then when you sip it, the first sip always is going to be hot. You're always going to feel something burnt or like too hot. So your taste buds shut down. So I always tell people, let it cool. Watch what happens after about 3 or 5 minutes. You get a little bit of a Myers lemon, not like a sour, not like you licked a lemon. It's like this hint of lemon that's kind of sweet but not. Then because you go right into a marshmallow and then the walnut and the milk chocolate. So it's a really interesting way of how coffee is, and it's a very it's actually my best seller. That's why I can talk about it so easily. Is this thing sells out 4 to 5 times faster than anything else. Now, everything else in between there is 1 to 2 bags from each other. So I have really good coffee that moves all the time. But El Salvador, when I brought it out and put it out on the market, it literally just took off like a rocket ship. And each year, coffee changes. So if you think that coffee is the same 3 years ago as it is today, unless it's low grade, just BS coffee, specialty grade coffee changes per year because the amount of water, the type of soil conditions, the generic atmosphere that happens, it all changes the flavor characteristics of that bean. So last year, it was hazelnut, vanilla, milk chocolate, I believe it was. I think that's what it was last year. And that was a really, really good cup of coffee. This year it changed a little bit. Put a little bit of Myers Lemon into it. And I was like, well, that's kind of interesting. But the body, the texture of the coffee was still damn near the same. And I was like, okay, this is still going to work for what I'm looking at keeping. So if it changes too much, I got to put a different coffee in from El Salvador, from a different farm, to match the same characteristics of the Vitel Bonanza. I can't have a low-grade coffee matching one of the bougiest aircrafts that's on the flight line today. The Vitel Bonanza was highly regarded as the best general aviation aircraft of all time. So why am I going to showcase it with something that tastes like boulders? Doesn't match.
Right.
So same thing with P-51 Mustang. P-51 Mustang started off with almost an underrated engine, if you will, but then they put in I forget the actual engine name off the top of my head, but they put in a really strong engine that made that aircraft extremely capable. And I was like, well, that's a really strong engine. I was like, so why don't I get a coffee that naturally has a strong body to it, a bold body, which came from Terra Rizu of Costa Rica. And I was like, but let's give it something that's a little bit more vibrant. So it has the milk chocolate in it. It's got the crisp apple. It's got walnut into it. And when you have that coffee, you're like, okay, I see why he named it the Terra Rizu Mustang, or named it after the P-51 Mustang, because it's light enough on the tongue when it finishes, but it's bold enough that, yeah, this is the characteristics of a P-51 Mustang. So, and then like I'm going to come out with the B-52. I'm going to make sure that one is nice and bold, because that aircraft, when it drops the bomb load, it drops it hard. And, might as well have a coffee that represents that. And that's a long answer to your question. I know I have a lot of passion, a lot of drive for what I do here. And I want people to really understand that this isn't just light, medium, dark roast. Coffee, specialty grade coffee. I can't say all coffees like this. There's 10 roast profiles. It starts at cinnamon and it goes all the way into an Italian roast. Vienna, French, and Italian are the three dark roasts. There's no such thing as a blonde. There's no such thing as an espresso. There's no such thing as some of these other companies that put out there. That's all them marketing and creating their own flair to stuff, which is fine. They can do that type of stuff. But as a specialty coffee roaster, as someone that follows standards, I've got 10 profiles. They start here, they end here. It's all based off of temperature. So 409 degrees is my city roast. Then you get 421 that puts us up to a full city plus, and that's a full medium. That, if anybody needs to correlate it, I actually have it on the website. It says roast level city, and then what is that really correlated with? It's a light. Well, what's a full city correlated with? That's, you're starting to touch that light medium, like the more to the medium, getting into the full mediums. But you should never really see like an Italian roast or a French roast from me. Maybe a Vienna, like a full city to a Vienna, because of the B-52 bomber. I need something that has a little bit more roasty toasty. It's just, in my opinion, that's that aircraft. If you've ever smelled that aircraft, if you've ever been around that aircraft, it's intimidating. And what it can do is also intimidating. So I'm like, let's make a coffee that is just that. Intimidating, but delightfully awesome to drink.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, you answered so many of my questions just with that one question, so it worked out so well.
Absolutely, bud.
Yeah.
What do we got going on here? 1 second, I just got an email. Okay. Yeah, sorry.
You're good.
Yep.
I have a segment on the show I call it the 5 counts, just 5 random questions, just answer as quick as possible. All right. What is your go-to breakfast order?
Breakfast order? Typically a breakfast burrito with sausage.
Oh, nice. If you were a pro wrestler or MMA fighter, what would your name be?
King Puff and Puff.
What are 3 things people would not expect about you?
I'm a pilot. I'm a geek. And that my dream was actually to be a firefighter.
Wow, there you go. Who or what inspires you?
The dude upstairs, to be honest. He's put a lot of stuff into my life, taken away, and he's given me the answers that I've always wanted. It's in his time, obviously, but I would have to say the dude upstairs. I mean, he literally, when something needs to happens the way it needs to happen, he puts it in my path and he just says, here, this is how you do this. And it happens. And yeah.
There you go. And what would you tell your 17-year-old self?
Oh my God. Oh, there's a lot of things I tell myself. Learn to be multifaceted.
Mm.
Multifaceted is going to take you a lot farther than being a subject matter expert. So stop thinking one-minded track or one-track minded or whatever that saying is called. Go learn more stuff. Expand your horizon. Expand your mind. Don't wait until you're in your late 20s to do that. And I would give that advice to anybody, including kids in high school.
That's perfect. I love that. Now, if people wanted to find out more about you, follow you online, buy Legendary Aviation coffee, how can they do all the things?
Yeah, so you actually just gave it away. Legendary Aviation coffee. If you go to IG and you put that after the .com, you put .com/Legendary Aviation coffee, you'll find us. You do that with Facebook, you'll find us. You put it in there and put legendaryaviationcoffee.com, you'll find us. We're a very personal brand. We follow more people than follow us because we engage with people. We are not about the follow me brand. I see a lot of competitors that have a huge following, but then they follow 2,000 people. I'm like, you have a fan base out there that you need to engage with and stop being this, oh, I'm better than you. I don't have time for you. No. Your fans want to interact with you. So like The Rock, he does okay. You know, he does really well when he's in public to engage with everybody. I really admire that about him. But on social media, I think we're pretty much head and shoulders above everybody else with engaging. And that's why I tell my admin assistant is like, hey, when you get on social media, go spend an hour, go play with people, go comment on random stuff too. It's absolutely fine. You'll see that I engage with more people than anything, you know, and I don't care about the big following because I'll still engage with anybody that engages with us. As long as you're being respectful and all other fun stuff, as long as you're not trying to degrade stuff. As soon as you start degrading stuff, understand I'm going to troll the hell out of you. And my mouth has got me in trouble a few times. I'll totally admit it. But, you know, people come after me like they're spamming me or something like that, and I'm going to come troll you. And, you know, I've made mistakes, and I will own up to my mistakes. I have openly apologized and called people out in different groups that they're saying, hey, I made a mistake. You came at this in this fashion. Here's examples of the same fashion. I thought you were spamming me. I don't do well with spam. I don't spam people on emails. I have over 1,000 clients. I've emailed them all once during Black Friday. So if you sign up for my newsletter or if you sign up for anything, understand you're still not getting any emails from me. So.
Sorry. That's fantastic because I know there's a lot of people that, you know, they do sign up for newsletters and all of a sudden they're like, oh, great. Now I'm just getting stuff every single day. So.
Yeah. Every day, every week, things like that. I was like, no, I can actually count on one hand how many times I've shot out an email. I was like, I've done one test email to people that I personally knew that allowed me to do it. And then the second email was Black Friday. That was it.
Well, there you go. Yep. Josh, thank you so much for your time. I love what you're doing with coffee. You not only are you educating people, but you're helping the coffee industry be better as it should be. And, you know, I just hope, I can't wait to see where the future holds for you for the next, forever years.
Thanks. Thanks for inviting me on. This has been a lot of fun. The last one I was on was only a half hour.